Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, June 23rd. Hump Day Wednesday. Woo, woo. Yep, and I am still losing my voice, so please forgive me. My raspy voice. I sound like I smoked a carton of cigarettes last night. I promise I did not. All right, so let's take a look here. The futures are really quite flat across the board. We're up just a little bit in the Dow, about 40 points. S&P's up a whole buck and a point and a half. So really not a lot going on. Holding in pretty steady. And if we look at yesterday's SPY action, I want to pop in here. Here we go. So here's what we looked like yesterday. It looked like we were going to have a little bit of a rough start. Then we're like, nope, we turned it around, came up, and flatlined for most of the day. We did have, some nice action as we got into the close yesterday. It was really good to see this taking a nice little move on. That's what we did. We closed off of those highs, but we closed in a pretty good spot. We did have a lot of buying and selling here right at the close. Not uncommon to see that spike, but on the daily, what that transposes into is that we have a 3-8-20 cross happening as of yesterday. This will actually pull it up because this doesn't show pre-market. However, look at this trend line that we have coming up. I just want to keep an eye on that. We could take a little bit of a break at that point. Remember, we've talked a lot about when are we seeing a trend change. We've thought that this could possibly be it. There's always that possibility. We came right back in with the 50 and moved. The 50 has been very consistent for us for quite a while. And definitely, as we start to move away from it, we need to keep in mind that apparently we like to come back and just check in with the 50 from time to time. Okay, let's take a look at some charts here. Several of these came from a late day when we were looking through charts. So let's go ahead and start with Peloton. Edie and I were talking about this one earlier in the day, and look at this sucker. It just ran on up without us, ran right through the trend lines that we drew in, and hung out here at the 200. Now, it's a little bit red this morning, pulled back in. After this move, it must be pretty tired. We have some extra volume. Look for the push through yesterday's close, through that 200 for a nice move up. I really like this Peloton idea. But the only ones I could find that I really like right now are the 917 120s. What I would maybe do is come in a little bit, like at 15 minutes so after the session starts, and see what's opening up for August, because if this takes that nice move up above the 200, there will likely be a lot of volume coming into some of those August strikes. And that's really where I think I would rather buy, because they're very expensive, but really like this look here. And if you flip over to the weekly, you can see we're really trying to stay up here above this 50 on the weekly. So definitely a nice little trend going on there in Peloton. So again, that's the 821, 917 120s on those. Sorry, 917 120s. All right, we talked about Zoom a little bit yesterday, and this thing here on the on its Fibonacci line, really productive, right? We take these little breaks, and they're really not that big of a deal now that we do have the 200 coming up. So looking for a play to come up here, test that 200, and then potentially move on in Zoom. The 820 380s are the ones that I'm looking for in Zoom. Oh, space. Goodness. Can't forget about space. We made all kinds of space jokes yesterday about it. Look at this. Using the 8 again. Push, push, push. Made a bigger leap yesterday on some growing volume. Keep an eye on this one. I like this. Anything over, actually, 38.50. So bring it up above this Fibonacci line. But look at where we clear out that volume. See this great big cavern back here? There's not a lot of volume resistance coming up. We also have a gap up here to 41.66. So keep an eye on space. I like the 820 42s on that. Now, I didn't like any options here in TTD. I really like TTD here. Build some volume in options, but they're kind of scattered. They're a little harder to play. So I would lean on equity at this point and looking for a break of this trend line for a move to the 200 in TTD. McDonald's. Who doesn't want a burger and fries or a shake? Yeah, shake sounds good. Make my throat feel better. All right, so McDonald's here fell through the 50 pretty hard, as a lot of our plays did. Took a nice run back up. Yesterday came in, was a little more undecided here with this doji candle. We have all of the moving averages together. So looking for a hold of those moving averages and push on up toward that 238. So McDonald's, I am watching the 820 to 40s on these. Now, there's a couple others that we kind of had our eye on. Etsy, like this up over the 50, that'll also give it a gap fill, but needs to prove itself. This it's been so stagnant for a while, but I really like that jump in it yesterday, so keep an eye on that one. I like Xilinx. Had a nice move up, came back in, and now pushing back up above that point of control. Didn't see any options on these that I like yet either, but I do like that one. We can't ignore the electric vehicle market. So we had this pretty decent pullback, looking for a reversal, just a plain reversal play here in XPEV or Lee are the two that I prefer. Neo, possibly here. Any of these, look for a reversal play. I did see that Tesla was moving up a little bit, and it's actually staying above its 200 here. And then also for some meme names, ones hitting the top of the list this morning are Clove at CLOV and Wish. Those are the two that are hitting the top of the list here. Another, the two that are following behind it, BlackBerry coming into earnings, and GSAT. I thought that was kind of interesting. This one came up yesterday. I think Don maybe in the community pointed it out because he follows these downer mark, and really nice. This is actually a pretty nice move overall, so keep an eye on this one to clear on up. I would say above 191. This morning it's at 190, so if it clears above that, it doesn't have a lot of resistance for a little bit. So those are the meme names that I would take a look at. All right, I am in Docu, and it's sitting pretty flat here this morning from the close. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well. If you have any questions, be sure to reach out, heatherc@givingtreetrading.com.